Hello, everyone. It's Monday, October the 24th. Regretfully, again, we've got 14 additional deaths, but we start off with a gentleman here that is our 7,480th death, is a 100-year-old male from Harrison County. And, I can't tell you how much that I'm sure we've gained from the wisdom that these great folks, especially this man, have brought us, and it's a shame. It's a shame that we're losing folks, especially our elderly, the ones that bring us all the wisdom, and we'll sure miss it. The 7,481st death is an 89-year-old female from Kanawha County. The 7,482nd death is a 71-year-old male from Mercer County. The 7,483rd death is a 74-year-old female from Logan County. The 7,484th death, a 76-year-old male from Berkeley County. The 7,485th death, a 45-year-old male from Lewis County. The 7,486th death, a 66-year-old female from Kanawha County. The 7,487th death, a 90-year-old female from Berkeley County. The 7,488th death, a 76-year-old female from Raleigh County. The 7,489th death, a 94-year-old female from Morgan County. The 7,490th death, a 78-year-old female from Morgan County. The 7,491st death, an 87-year-old male from Roane County. The 7,492nd death, an 80-year-old male from Taylor County. And the 7,493rd death is a 98-year-old female from Cabell County. I think the youngest person here, a 45-year-old male and a 66-year-old male. Daggone, it's terrible. Active cases, 802. New cases, 564. Daily positivity rate at 5.83. Cumulative rate at 8.56. Recovered cases are almost 600,000 in West Virginia. There's 157 people hospitalized, 27 in the ICU units, and 8 on ventilators. We have one gold county. Most of the counties are green and yellow. We've still got to watch. It's going to get colder. As far as COVID vaccines for kids, that seems like a hot button right now. And within all my power that I have, West Virginia will not mandate COVID-19 vaccines for kids. Now, I can't promise being overridden or whatever it may be, but in all my power, I do not think that that's the right thing to do. I think that choice needs to be to our parents and our families and everything. I encourage children. I encourage the families to have kids vaccinated. But at the same time, as long as I'm your governor, I will do everything in my power to prevent the federal government or West Virginia legislature from mandating these COVID vaccines, in our school system. It just absolutely flies right in the face of me that if we don't watch out, we should continue to encourage. But absolutely, we've all stayed together. We've pulled the rope together, all of us, haven't we? And we've gotten through this a million times better than what most folks would have thought we'd have gotten through it. If you absolutely want us to fragment in every direction known to man, then come up with something as ridiculous as this. So from the standpoint of the powers to be in the federal government, I'd say no way. As far as your Omicron booster, they're available, like I said, to the 12 and older folks, and I encourage you to get that and everything, especially if you're 50 and older. From the standpoint of our numbers continue to crawl slowly, better and better. We're going to stay at it and everything. We're up as far as 65 and older now to 92.3%. That's pretty daggum good. Our vaccine calculator and our COVID vaccine info line is up. It's all there on our website and everything. You can go in and register for the calculator, and it will help you. It'll help you know when your time is that you need to be getting your booster shots. There's 39 outbreaks in our long-term care facilities, none in the church community, 39 inmates, that have COVID now, and 6 staff cases. As far as the homeowner assistance program, it's still all available to you. The information is available on our website, but absolutely, if you'll call, we'll walk you through and everything and see if we can get you qualified. A lot of people are still really hurting. A lot of people don't understand what's available to them. Help the people around you understand that if they're really hurting and everything, please call us. From the standpoint of giving blood, I say check with your physician. If your physician gives you the thumbs up and everything, please consider. Please consider. The JAG grants. Today I'm happy to announce that I have awarded $1,204,534 in assistance, and this is not in my name, but this is in the Justice, the United States Justice Assistance Grant Program funds to 39 projects across the state. And these funds will be used to assist state agencies, local units of government, and private nonprofit agencies in carrying out specific programs that offer a high probability of improving the functioning of the criminal justice system. It's good stuff. From the standpoint of Amendment 2, I again encourage in every way for you to shoot that down. Please, we can't let Amendment 2 pass. Absolutely, it will be the ultimate blowing our legs off in the state of West Virginia. It's driven by force, it's driven by things that absolutely I don't think are healthy and good for West Virginians. Without any doubt, it's driven by the swamp. It's driven by lobbyists. It's driven by the promise of another office or another election. Without any question whatsoever, it is not rewarding the hardworking people of West Virginia. It is rewarding very large corporations that, in all honesty, in most situations, have tremendous profitability and don't even ask. That's the thing that I can't believe. Don't even ask about coming to West Virginia about getting rid of the machinery and inventory tax. But yet what we're about to do is absolutely put a stake in the heart of the personal income tax issue, which will help our citizens, help us grow, all the different things that we could do, and we'll put a stake in that heart that'll go away forever. Now, in addition to all that, you're going to give up all of your control, all of the county control to Charleston. Now, I was in Moorfield, on Friday, and a man stood up and said, "Let me tell you something, and you better listen to me. You better listen absolutely to that gentleman, and you better listen to that man," and he pointed at me. He said, "That man's telling you the truth." He said, "I know, because we in Hardy County, we absolutely were promised, we were told, that we had to make these cuts and everything, but we would get the money back. Every year we go to Charleston in February and beg." That's exactly what he said. Every year we go and beg. Now, and this guy was with the Hardy County Health Department. He said every single year in February we line up with everybody coming or going and go and beg. And we've never gotten our money back. In all honesty, it's just as simple as just that. Why in the world would you as a county give up a guaranteed income stream and just put all your faith in Charleston? Are you kidding me? And on top of all that, we have got to know this, and without any question, it is fact. I have come up with a way that will guarantee you to get rid of your car tax. Guarantee you the car tax is not an issue at all in the Amendment 2 vote. without any question, the legislature will have to absolutely take up and pass overwhelmingly. I'd be stunned if one person votes against it, because what it is just taking money out of these surpluses and rebating them back instantaneously. And don't buy into this fact it's going to take forever. It's another thing of layering in government and all that. All that is a bush to hide behind. That's just an excuse. Absolutely, without any doubt, what will happen is, for the folks, and 87% of you do this electronically, it will happen so fast and everything, you'll have your money back right now. And not only will you have your money back, but going back to January of 22, from that year right now, we'll rebate you that money back instantaneously. I'd do it tomorrow. If the Senate and the House said we're ready to go, I'd do it in special session tomorrow. But the bill is written. This isn't hocus pocus. The bill is written, and it will be my first bill that I submit in January. Absolutely, the car tax is gone. Gone. You do not have to buy into this garbage that pass Amendment 2 and get rid of your car tax. The car tax, through my rebate program, is gone. You'll get the car tax back, and you won't have to pay car tax ever again under my deal. Now, with all that being said, then what you've got to decide is, okay, then do I want to vote for Amendment 2 and absolutely change the Constitution of West Virginia? Do I want to vote for Amendment 2 and lose all control on a county level to Charleston? Are you kidding me? Do I want to vote for Amendment 2 and put a stake right in the heart of the personal income tax forevermore, that we'll never, never get on a pathway of getting rid of our personal income tax? And do I want to vote for Amendment 2 and pass on gigantic, gigantic savings to big, big out-of-state corporations and leave our people standing on the sidelines fighting inflation every single day? And literally, we could be helping them right this second. But Amendment 2, and absolutely the machinery and inventory tax, and you write it down in stone. In July, when I came out and said, let's put $254 million right back into the hands of the people, and we said no. On the Senate level, the House passed it in a day. We said no. It was all driven by the sinister forces of Amendment 2. That's all there is to it. When we had our people hurting like crazy with inflation, and the Senate turned its back flat on West Virginians, absolutely that day, it was all driven by Amendment 2. Don't buy this, West Virginia. Don't buy it. All I can do is tell you. All I can do is tell you, and you know me. You know I've stood right with you, arm in arm, through the pandemic, through everything. I walked in, we were bankrupt as it can be, and you see where we are today. I'm telling you the truth, West Virginia. It's all I know to do. At the end of the day, from my standpoint, I'll add one more thing. From my standpoint, how much do you think I would gain from Amendment 2? My companies would gain millions from Amendment 2. And I'm telling you, don't do it. Because I didn't sign up for this like that. I signed up for you. I didn't sign up to get something for myself. I didn't sign up for that. And I'm not going to be that way. Absolutely, there's too much lobbyist swamp, money running around, next election, all the promises in the world. There's way too much of that. Absolutely. It's a bad deal. Bad, bad deal. I'll be in Huntington later on today to talk about Amendment 2. Then I'll be in Moundsville and Weirton tomorrow, and I don't know where I'll be beyond that, but I'll be somewhere. I remind you over and over about getting out and seeing these incredible colors all across our state. God's showing off right now, and we should thank Him and be really proud to be a part of what He's given us. From the standpoint of turkey season, there are 2 segments of the West Virginia fall turkey hunting season and everything that started this morning. Hunters can now hunt turkey in Brooke, Hancock, Marshall, Mason, and Ohio, Preston, and Wood counties. Now this is, until October the 30th. Now, and turkey hunting is also available in Berkeley, Grant, Greenbrier, Hampshire, Hardy, Mineral, Monroe, Morgan, Nicholas, Pendleton, Pocahontas, Randolph, Tucker, and Webster counties until November the 13th. Now, what is really neat about this, and we need to really commend our DNR. When I was growing up, I think in 1976, I killed the first wild turkey that I had ever seen. I went in the spring. I didn't think there was a chance in the world of hearing a wild turkey and everything. It was the first opening day of the season. It was in Monroe County. I had a little box call that I didn't have any idea how to even use, and just stuff that I'd heard and everything, what to do. Now, I'd hunted all my life, and I was a pretty damn good hunter and everything, but nevertheless, I went out before daylight, and I was standing there, and the wind was kind of blowing, and it was a little foggy, and a little bit of rain coming down. I said, this is crazy and everything. I'll never hear a turkey. There's no way. And, I was with a fellow by the name of Roscoe Weichel. And Mr. Weichel and I hunted a lot together and everything, and what an incredible man and what an incredible life and everything. But nevertheless, down over the hill, and it was straight down, probably 300 or 400 yards away, broke daylight, and sure enough, a turkey was gobbling like crazy, and I could not believe it. I couldn't believe it, and I was hooked for life. But anyway, make a long story short, I ended up on one side of the log with that little box call and everything, and lo and behold, some way, somehow it came, and I got it. It was 21 pounds and 4 ounces, but I was hooked for life. With all that being said, the DNR, the introduction back of turkeys and moving turkeys around in our state, and the cannon nests where they catch them and they move them to different areas in different counties where we didn't have populations at all. We celebrate, though we not celebrate, a fall turkey hunting season. Are you kidding me? In Brooke and Hancock and Marshall, Mason, Ohio, Preston, and Wood counties? I mean, for crying out loud, you're talking about somebody that spent more time in the woods than most people, period. And I had never seen a wild turkey until 1976. So with all that being said, we celebrate the incredible success of what our DNR has done, and this unbelievable bird, and all the greatness that goes with it. The only other thing I'd say is the nation, I guess, received the test scores, of our kids from our 4th grade to 8th grade all across our nation. No states, not one state, had score increases in math and reading from 2019 to 2022. Now, it's a shame, and COVID has really taken a toll. There's no question about that. And West Virginia's scores are not great. They're nowhere close to great, and they can absolutely surely be improved upon. I'm in constant communication with our Department of Ed and everything. Everybody there sees and absolutely acknowledges that we still got work to do, and we're going to continue to do just that. Remember just this. You're listening to the guy that in the first State of the State address 6 years ago, I came to the floor and said, we need to make education our centerpiece. Now, we've done a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of really good stuff going on in our schools. There's a lot of stuff going on in the schools in West Virginia that way goes beyond test scores. I say it over and over, but just stay with me just one more second. Really and truly, if you went to these 4th graders and you said to them, who's your teacher? And they would tell you. And then you said to the 4th graders, what do you think of your teacher? I would say the overwhelming majority, by far, these kids love their teacher. And then if you went to our communities of the 4th to the 8th graders and you said to our communities, you said, What do you think of our school in your community? What do you think of your school in your community? And I'll promise you that again, the same thing would be true. Most people love their school in their community, and it's so meaningful to them. Now, if the kids love their teachers and the community loves the school, we got to have a bunch of good stuff going on there, don't we? Let's just be fair. Way, way, way beyond maybe bad test scores. But it doesn't mean that we turn our back on the test scores. We want to do better there. We absolutely have to do better there. Absolutely, our kids deserve that in every way. But I'm telling you, there's a lot of good stuff going on in all of our schools. You know, whether they be public or private, whatever it may be, charter, absolutely there is a lot of good stuff going on with our schools. And I will promise you, in most every single case, the teachers love their kids. So a lot of good stuff. I congratulate everybody, but we've sure taken a big step backwards in this country with COVID. Not a single state has increases in the math and reading scores. You know, we got a problem there. We need to address it, and we're going to keep at it and figure out the solution. Thank you so much. That's all I've got.
All right, thank you, Governor. We'll now hear from Dr. Clay Marsh, our coronavirus czar.
Well, good morning. And as the governor said, we continue to see in West Virginia a slow decline in the number of cases and also the number of hospitalizations. But like we are tracking across the country and in the world, we see that the BA.5 variant, the Omicron BA.5 variant, that's been the dominant variant for so long, is now starting to reduce in its significance to the number of cases of COVID-19 that are identified across our country. And a derivative of this variant called the BQ1 and the BQ1.1 variant are picking up the frequency in which they are causing infections. And these two variants are derived from the BA.5 variant, but they're more infectious. Their superpower is that they have additional mutations in the spike proteins, and they are not reduced in their function by the use of the therapeutic monoclonal antibodies, the bebtelovimab, or the treatment in people that are immunocompromised, the Evusheld. It appears that the BQ variants are resistant to those. They still are susceptible to the action of the new Omicron booster shot, which is even more important now that people focus on choosing to be vaccinated, particularly people that are eligible to be choosing vaccination with the new Omicron booster shot. And also we see that in states like New York City, which is a state that has more BQ1 and BQ1.1 cases, then they are seeing an increase in hospitalizations. And we see that countries across the globe that are having trouble with new variants, whether it's the BQ1 or BQ1.1 variant or others, that their ability to keep their population safe seems to be most directly related to the percent of the population that is up to date with boosters. And we know in our country, if you compare people with 4 boosters versus no boosters, there has been a 96% reduction in rate of death. And we look around the world, over 20,000 lives were saved in 2021. It was estimated by the use of the vaccines. And that's probably a fairly substantial reduction in the number of deaths, given the fact that many people didn't get tested as readily. So really important for us, particularly our most susceptible population, our over 50 and over 65-year-old population, to get vaccinated, because nationally, the over 65-year-old population is tracking about 8%. And we are doing much better than that in West Virginia, but we still have opportunity. And as the governor said, we want to stay together. Our goal is to save as many lives and improve health in every way we possibly can. And not only does the updated COVID vaccine booster, along with the other vaccines, give you protection against death and hospitalization, but also a 30 to 50% reduction in the risk of developing long COVID, long-term complications from COVID-19. So for all those reasons, we hope that everybody takes an opportunity now as we see these new variants starting to build in the United States to protect themselves, because the projection is over the next month to 2.5 months, we're going to see more spread of these variants in the United States. And since we've seen it now in New York City, we know in general, everything that has come to New York City will follow over the next several weeks to month or so to get to West Virginia. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Marsh. Secretary Crouch and Dr. Amjad are also joining us today and are available for questions. We'll now go to questions from members of the media. The first today from Stephen Allen Adams with Ogden Newspapers.
Yeah, Stephen Adams of Ogden Newspapers here. In regards to the CDC child vaccination recommendations, that's the key word there, recommendations. Is the reaction on this a little overblown? Because it would appear that these are part of the recommendations in 2022 as well. This is just a summary of all of the recommendations, but there's no mandates that have been given on this. But I've seen sort of reaction from Republican lawmakers. It's one thing you may actually have in common with Senators Blair and Tarr is this particular issue, as well as other Republican lawmakers. But again, these are just recommendations. So understandably, you all are not recommending that, or DHHR add these. But I mean, do you kind of feel that the reaction to this is a little kind of overblown? Thank you.
Well, Stephen, here's the thing. I always try to be really, really clear with everyone and try to be as upfront and as honest as I know how to be. There's too many rumors floating around. And with rumors, you get people scared. And so I just, I don't know the position of, Blair and Tarr. I really don't. From my standpoint, I'm the governor, and I think the people deserve and need to hear from me. And so I don't want people to be afraid about the fact, oh my gosh, they're going to end up mandating that we give all of our kids, or make it to where all of our kids have to take these vaccinations, and we don't really think that's a very good idea. There's enough smoke that there's got to be some fire. And with all that being said, I don't want our parents, who really should be the ones that are making those choices and everything, I don't want them afraid. And so that's the only reason. It's surely not a mandate at this point in time. But at the same time, it's something that I really truly believe that it's my job to push down fear. And I can see that there's a bunch of folks out there that are saying, "Oh my gosh, what are they going to do to us next?" and this and that and everything. And we still, we do have control over, the as far as this level of mandates. At least that's my opinion at this time.
All right, thanks, Stephen. Next to Mark Curtis with Nexstar Media.
Good morning, Governor and Dr. Marsh and fellow reporters. Governor, you'll probably appreciate the way I'm going to phrase this question since you're a basketball coach. Are we likely, I know you've been out there almost every day traveling the state, but are we likely in the next 2 weeks now, with just 2 days to early voting and 2 weeks to Election Day, are we likely to see a full court press from you, not only these in-person meetings in the community, but are there going to be radio and television ads? I mean, how much are you guys going to, as I said, have a full court press from now until Election Day in your opposition to Amendment 2?
Well, Mark, I really believe this. I don't work at too many things to not get it done. We need to. I am confident beyond all comparison that if you were to go with me to these meetings and everything and see the people that are there and see their reactions, as to what's going on, once they understand, they line up 100%. It's not they line up, 80-20 or 60-40, 100% saying, well, what in the world? There's no way we're going to vote for that. 100%. So in my opinion, what we got to do, and this again is my job, I don't think that it's been fair what we've done to the people of West Virginia. We went out for a year or a year and a half. We traveled around and we gave our commissioners or Board of Education's numbers that we just made up ourselves. They weren't vetted by the Revenue Department here. They were just hocus pocus numbers. And we tried not me, Senate members tried every way in the world to convince county commissions and school board members that they needed to vote for Amendment 2. And absolutely there was all this good going to come. Well, just think about it. 53 of the counties now have come out and said no. 53 out of 55 have said no. The only two that have said yes are Blair's County and Tars County. That's it. That's it. Absolutely, Mark, I don't know that we've got any hocus pocus full court press, but I can tell you I don't do many things, just working at it to be able to lose. Now, from time to time you do, but the loss is not going to be to me. I mean, from a standpoint of where I am in this, I'll be able to lay down and I'll be able to go to sleep knowing that I did everything in the world I could possibly do to educate the people of West Virginia and then let them vote. And I'm going to be completely respectful of whatever the vote may be. But I'm telling you, if we pass this, we'll blow our legs off. I mean, you know it. You know that's true. And absolutely, but from my standpoint, it's not going to be a win or loss. I can't lose in this one. And the reason I can't lose is because if this is passed, I'll end up being respectful of the vote. And I'll end up 2 years from today, I won't be your governor anymore. And I'll run into you in Walmart or wherever it may be, and I'll look right at you and say, when the wheels have flown off, I'll look right at you and say, I told you so. And Mark, let me tell you one other thing. And this absolutely I would tell, because many of our legislatures got on board with this thinking that it was just benign. It didn't have any toxicity level to it. It may be good for something and everything going down the road. Seemed reasonable. We passed a resolution, didn't come to me, but passed a resolution and everything seemed perfectly reasonable and everything. Let's just take it to the vote of the people and everything. Did not have any idea the level of toxicity. And I'll bet you big bucks that many of those legislatures, which are really good people, now they probably are sitting there thinking, well, what in the world? This thing has taken on a life of its own. And there's been a lot of stuff happen here that's not right. But let me tell you, Mark, here is the absolute reaction, like it or not like it. This is the reaction of the people. Everywhere I go. First of all, they didn't know. Now they know. And now they're mad. And you know who they're mad at? They're mad at legislatures that voted for this and legislatures that basically said, we want to do this. And even though they may very well, it may have been so benign to them because they didn't really know what Senate leaders were out running all over the state, promising everything under the sun and doing. Now, like it or not like it, but here's what they're going to do. And this is God's truth if I die. If they're not mad today and mad at our own, I'm the Republican, at our own majorities, If they're not mad today, they will be mad. I'll promise you they'll be mad. Because when we have a bump in the road, if this passes, when we have a bump in the road, they'll blame the majorities. They will. They absolutely will. Now listen, I didn't sign on to tell you anything but the truth. And without any question right now, if I were in the majorities, I would probably be getting away from this. Because absolutely, if this thing passes, absolutely going down the road, there'll be bumps, and when there's bumps, we'll get blamed. There's no question in my mind this thing needs to get away right now. This thing needs to go down right now. Too many situations, too many things. For crying out loud, you know, we all love Walmart and everything, but Walmart's doing pretty daggum good. We got people out there right now that are really hurting and worried about how they're going to make ends meet. Prices are sky high. You know, Steve Ducey on Fox this morning said he was in a grocery store and paid $8 for a bottle of ketchup. You know, well, just think about it. Our people are hurting. Our people are really hurting right now, and we need to be helping them, don't we? I came up with a thing in July that absolutely would put $254 million right back into the pockets of our people. And it got shot down. We wouldn't even vote on it in the Senate. Our people are hurting. Walmart's not hurting. Why in the world are we going to give Walmart, and I love Walmart, don't get me wrong, and I love our big corporations, but today we need to be doing stuff for our people. And not only that, we need to be coming up with a mechanism to drive growth to West Virginia. Getting rid of the personal income tax will drive real growth. Getting rid of the machinery and inventory taxes, build a field and hope. Hope they'll come. I've seen the hope they'll come a bunch of times. I know the personal income tax reduction puts real money in our people's pockets today that they need right now, not in big giant corporations. And I know that it will drive growth to West Virginia. I'm really passionate about this, Mark, for a reason. I really believe, and this is hard to believe, you know, considering we started out bankrupt and then we built surpluses and we did roads to prosperity and tourism and everything under the sun, the horrible pandemic and everything. But I'm telling you, as your chief executive in this state, this is the biggest moment in the state as far as I'm concerned. Needs to go down.
All right, thank you, Mark. Next to Amelia Nicely with West Virginia Public Broadcasting. Amelia, you may be muted. Yeah, we're having some audio issues there. I apologize. Charles Young, how about you? We'll work on Amelia while you're talking.
All right, this is Charles Young with WV News. Governor, the other day, California announced that they would be ending their COVID state of emergency at the end of February, right before the 3-year mark. Have you given any more consideration to when West Virginia is going to end its COVID state of emergency? Thank you.
Well, Charles, you know, there's so many things that, you know, I mean, we don't really have any dollars, state dollars that are dependent upon our state of emergency right now. It just seems like it's, you know, right. I mean, I'm sure that we'll revisit soon and everything, but right now there's so many really important issues that are on the burner, and we'll get to it. We'll get to it in time. I don't think we have anything at risk at all at this time. So we'll just get to it in time.
All right, Amelia, do we have you now? Yeah, it's still not working. I apologize. Governor, we'll turn it back to you.
Well, that's all I've got. You know, we celebrate this 100-year-old fellow that we lost in Harrison County, our 7,480th death, but we got 7,493 now deaths in West Virginia. please keep all these folks in your prayers and everything, and get outside and enjoy, like I said about God showing off. It's a time of year that is beautiful beyond all comparison in West Virginia, and it'll touch your soul. Right now, in all honesty, we need lots of good things to touch our soul, and so many people that we need to send up prayers for. I can tell you that a lady just lost her son to a fentanyl overdose, and it's all over the place. I mean, this open borders is absolutely causing an incredible wave of fentanyl in West Virginia that's very, very dangerous. Be really watchful. Be careful. Thank y'all so much.